Hey everyone, thanks for joining me again. We're now into the 6th or 7th week of coronavirus, I think, for most of us. And I really hope that you're doing well. It looks like most of us are going to be in a lockdown kind of situation or isolation situation for at least a few weeks more. And so I want to keep on offering what I can to you with yoga. I know many of you are joining us through our Salutation Yoga Zoom classes, and it's been so great to see so many of you. It actually works really well to be able to see you and adjust you and also connect with you and see you in your homes and just to see your faces again. So for those of you who can't join us, this is for you today. Or even if you are joining us, maybe you can also round out your practice and you can practice whatever time you want. So as always, I do an open level class. Nothing particularly complex, but also maybe some challenging moves in here just to get the heart pumping, get you out of your head. If you're new to yoga, you're totally welcome to join this. You should be able to find it doable. Just be mindful, especially when we go upside down in inversions, in handstands, headstands and the like, that just be mindful of your space and just do everything you can just to protect your wonderfully perfect and healthy body. And more than anything, just remember to have some fun. Okay, so we're going to start off today in just a tabletop position. Don't have to worry too much where anything is. It's just a warm-up. Make sure though your index fingers are pointing forward and just feel the shoulders come over the wrists a little bit. If you can feel already your wrists are a little bit sticky, you might always want to warm up your wrist before practicing. Depends on your flexibility of your wrists, maybe also how much you work on the laptop or whatever. But grip the mat a little bit, dig the toes in, and then just hover the knees off the ground. You're probably thinking, what the hell? But this will be a really effective warm up. All right, so from here, lift the knees up a little bit, tuck the tailbone in so you're not sticking your butt out, and then just float the left leg off the ground. Doesn't have to be straight, just maybe even bent. Then take the right fingertips forward and then hover the right hands off the ground, and then circle the wrists and circle the ankles. For 3, 2, 1, opposite direction. It's a little bit to think about. And drop it down. Let's switch sides. So first take the other foot off the ground, stack the shoulder over the wrists, hover. It's not actually elegant in any way. Start to circle those wrists. For 3, 2, you can hear I'm gasping for breath already. Other way. And down. All right, let's switch sides again. Remember, suck the belly in. Try and minimize how much you shake the hips from side to side. Opposite way. And other side for 3. 2, try not to fall over. Opposite way. We're circling wrists, circling hands. Drop the hands, drop the feet. Downward facing dog. Congratulations, you're warm already. Fastest warm up ever in yoga. Developed, I believe, by Anna Forrest. All right, from here, your downward facing dog, bending one knee, then the other. Lift the right leg up nice and high. Right, and then put the right foot over the back of the left ankle. Bend the knees a little bit here, and then just press yourself back, opening up the armpits. Drop the head. You can even wiggle your hips a little bit from side to side, see how it feels. All right, sweep the right leg up nice and high, and then just drop it down. The other side, left leg comes up, really feel it open, and left foot comes over the back of the right ankle. Bend the knees a little bit, press your chest closer towards your thighs. Keep the head dropped nice and easy. Feel your fingertips here in the pose. Feel them gripping the mat. Really important to get into that habit of feeling your hands actually gripping and touching and being active on the mat. Really helps when you start to get into some upside down inversions. All right, left leg sweeps up nice and high. Drop it down. Once again, right leg comes up. And from here, let's go knee towards nose. Inhale, lift up. Knee towards nose. Shifting the shoulders over the wrists and lift up. knee towards nose. Hold it here. Drop the knee down. Almost tap the ground, lift it back up. Drop the knee down, lift it back up. Drop the knee down, lift it back up. And then drop the knee all the way down to the ground. Make sure it's kind of a little bit underneath, under your hips at least. And then lift up the back left leg. Walk the hands forward a little bit. And then knee towards nose. And extend back. Shift forward. Bend the elbows. Press back up. Knee towards nose. Extend. Shift forward. Little baby chaturanga. Press back up. So in this one, you're doing a little bit of a back bend as you come forward, opening the chest up. As you come through, you're rounding the spine. Just a few more. Last one. Suck it in, round the spine, extend up, and then bring yourself down, back up. And then drop the left heel, the left toes onto the ground. Then press the hands into the ground and you're rolling on top of the right foot here. So you're stretching up the top of your right foot. So if you ever have a few problems when you go from upward facing dog, rolling over your toes to downward facing dog, this can actually help. Conditions the foot a little bit. All right. Just take the right foot off the ground and come back to downward facing dog. All right, left leg sweeps up nice and high. Knee towards nose. Inhale, lift up. Knee towards nose, just travel forward to plank. Inhale, lift up. Knee towards nose. Inhale, lift up. All right, bring it forward. All right, pressing the ground away. Drop the knee down to the mat, almost touching, and then suck it back up. So really warming up in the shoulders here. Suck it back up, and inhale, suck it back up. Settle the knee down to the mat. You'll have to move it down, back a little bit, so those knees underneath the hips, and float the right leg off the ground. So take a quick look. Take a quick look here at what's happening with your right hip. You probably opened it up a little bit. Just bring it down a little bit. Look up, and then bring the knee in towards the nose as you round the spine. Inhale. Shift the weight forward. Little baby chaturanga, press back up, knee towards nose, extend and lift, come forward, baby chaturanga, inhale, exhale down. So harder than what it looks, right? Even when you're doing kind of like this chaturanga with one knee down. So I actually can feel my triceps shaking already. Maybe this is going to be a harder class than what I thought it was. All right, bring it in. All right, extend it back out. Bring the right foot down. Stay so you're flat on the left foot, so you can maybe see it easier on this side. And then just press up into the ground. Drop the head. So you're rolling onto the top of the left foot here. A few breaths, step it back. All right, back to downward facing dog. When you're ready, bend the knees and then just walk forward a little bit. Coming into a forward fold. And in your forward fold, really drop the head, soften the knees a little bit, maybe even clasp the fingertips behind the back of the neck, then pull the elbows down just to stretch the back of the neck. If you do this as well, tucking the chin in towards the chest, you might even feel it really even deeper into across your glutes and your hamstring. All right, drop the hands, sweep the hands up all the way, inhale. And then exhale, hands down by the side. Readjust yourself, big toes together, heels slightly apart. Take a couple of seconds here, maybe stretch the neck out. If it feels good, maybe roll the neck around. And just get yourself ready for the traditional warm-up in yoga, sun salutations. Begin to press the hips forward, belly in. So in this position, make sure your rib cage is not flaring out, but rather it's tucked in, and then you're tight in this area here between your pubic bone and your navel. Inhale, have fun. Lift the hands up. Exhale, forward fold, fold into that space. Halfway lift, inhale. Plant the hands, step back into your plank and come forward, look forward in your chaturanga through to your upward facing dog. On the backs, the tops of the feet, firming the thighs. Roll over them, downward facing dog. Open the shoulder blades. Any movement in your downward facing dog, especially in the first couple, is a really, really great thing to do. But at some point, maybe just challenge yourself to see if you can find the stillness. Sometimes that's the hardest thing to do in all these postures, is to stop fidgeting, stop moving, and actually just be still in the posture. Definitely one of the hardest things for me. All right, high up on the toes, bend the knees. Step forward into your halfway lift. Feel the chest rise, feel the weight shift into your toes. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift up. Feel the rib cage lift up out of your hips. And then fold back into this line of between nose to belly button down to your toes. Feel that line of energy as you fold in. Halfway lift, feel the weight shift. Plant the hands, step back. And same thing, lower down. Halfway if you're in your chaturanga, upward facing dog. Pull the chest through, feel the shoulder blades firm into the back. Exhale, downward facing dog. If you found you've lost your breath, try and ride it back home. Inhaling and exhaling slowly out through the nose. All right, high up on the toes, lift up the hips, bend the knees, try and keep the hips kind of nice and high, and then step forward. Exhale, forward fold. If you're jumping forward already, that's okay. Inhale, lift the hands all the way up. Who am I to judge? Exhale, forward fold, straight back down. Pull the belly in. Feel the neck relax. Lift up the chest, feel the fingertips into the mat. Step jump, whatever you want to do back, go for it. Upward facing dog. Feel the quads engaged here. Feel the thighs firm. Feel the back bend start to lift up out of the hips. Exhale, downward facing dog. Maybe see if you can sink your heels a little bit higher, but at the same time firm your thighs back and lift the hips up. All right, high up on the toes. If you're jumping forward, maybe even test out, see if you can do it with straight legs. Very challenging. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, come straight back down. Just a couple more. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, plant the hands. Maybe you're jumping back. Upward facing dog, inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Feel your fingertips, grip the mat. And feel like you're pushing your hands. Engaging, lifting up out of the shoulders. Spreading the shoulder blades apart, high up on the toes, soften the knees. Step, jump, float it forward. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Don't rush as you lift up, really feel it. Inhale, last one. Exhale, feel the softening down. Inhale, lift up, chest forward, weight forward. Step, jump, float it back. Upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, shorten the distance of your hands a little bit back towards your feet. And maybe even bring the big toes together. And with a little hop, see if you can cross your shins and come straight into Navasana, boat pose. All right, from here, try and compress the knees in towards the chest. At the same time, not sinking down in towards into the shoulder blades, but lifting up and out. Hold here. And from today, we're going to bring the toes down, actually. Suck the knees closer in towards the chest. Keep the shoulder blades pulling apart and fingertips reaching forward. Lift up the right foot and extend. And then try not to lean back too much when you do this. And we're going to switch. Woo! Keep switching. Try and breathe with each one. It's not easy. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, pull your belly in, 3, better than what I'm doing, 2, 1, well done. Bring the toes together. Keep the toes down for this one as we move into low boat. And then inhale, come back up. Keep toes down towards the butt. And exhale. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. How many will we do? Inhale up. It's always something my students talk about, is how I forget how many repetitions that I've done. I don't count well enough. Which must be so frustrating. But just a couple more. Enjoy. 2 and 1. As we come down the low one, let's hold low boat. So bring the palms up, suck the belly in, point the toes, thighs are firm for 5. Lift the chest, hollow out the body even more. 4, 3, 2, far out. 1. All right, bring the body down, relax for a second. Hug the knees into the chest. Oh, if your back hurts, just rock back and forth a few times. Actually, rock anyway. Massage the spine, especially if you're doing this first thing in the morning. I find the body can be really stiff. And when you're ready, we're going to rock up to a forward fold, maybe not even using the hands on the ground. Forward fold. All right. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Separate the feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bring the fingertips out in front a little bit. Halfway lift. And just sweep the left leg off the ground. And then bring it really, circle it really around the side. The outer edge of the foot is on the ground. And so the ankles are almost in line with each other. The right knee is bent. Inhale, lift up the chest. Put your left hand pretty much in line with your shoulder, but a little bit forward. And then open up the right hand towards the ceiling, finding a twist here. Should really feel this in your outer right hip quite a lot. Zip the thighs together. Firm the right shoulder into the back. All right, sink it down. Right hand comes in front of you, a little bit to the outside of your right foot, maybe 1 o'clock, as they say. Lift the left hand up. Find just an easy half moon. Don't need to worry too much about the posture here. We're just really opening up the hips. Inhale, lift the left leg up a little bit higher. And then exhale, circle the leg back down with control. Drop it down to the mat. Inhale, lift up the chest. Exhale, forward fold. Other side. So fingertips up. Begin to circle the right leg up. Circle it around the back. Outer edge of the foot almost in line with the left foot if you can. Right fingertips come to the mat in line with the left toes. Reach up the left hand. Hopefully you can see it a little bit easier on this side. Really pull the left hip back. Zip the thighs together. Finding a twist here. Should really feel it around there. I know I do. If you don't feel it, maybe you're just flexible there. Don't worry too much about it. Only feel something. All right. Circle the left hand down, fingertips, just around 1 o'clock in relation to your left foot. Then open up the right leg. So we're going from an internal rotation of the thigh in the hip socket to an external rotation, opening it up now. Inhaling and then exhaling. Lift up the right leg a little bit higher. Don't worry about too much of the form. Right hand circles down. Bring the foot gently down to the mat. Inhale, lift up the chest. Exhale, forward fold. Bring the big toes together. Once again, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Sit on your chair. Inhale, lift the chest. Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold. Into sun salutation B. Enjoy. Inhale. Exhale, plant the hands. Step, jump, float it back. Half lift up into your upward facing dog. You can always do cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, right foot steps in between the hands. Drop the left knee. Inhale, lift up the chest. Low lunge. Exhale, bring the hands down. Step back through plank. Go through your vinyasa. You can always skip a vinyasa out, no problems. I often do actually. Left foot in between the hands as right knee drops. Inhale. Just always do a practice that works for you. Never any judgment, guilt, whatever. Life's too short to bother with things like that. Breathing here. Back to your downward facing dog. Hopefully you're feeling really warm now. I know I am. Inhale and exhale. All right, high up on the toes. Step, jump, float. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Sit on your chair, Utkatasana. Keep the belly sucked in. Should be able to see your big toes. Exhale, come straight back down. Inhale, lift up. Feel the weight shift. Your way back. You know the drill. Go for it. Try to look forward in chaturanga though. Resist the urge to look down. Downward facing dog. All right, warrior one this time. Step the right foot in between the hands. Left heel drops. Inhale. Exhale, circle the hands down. Through your vinyasa. Upward facing dog. Keep those toes nice and pointed. Everything engaged. Left side, warrior one. Inhale, draw the left hip back. Exhale, come down. Through your vinyasa. Woo. Upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Shaking in my voice already. If you want to take a child's pose, go for it. Otherwise, use downward facing dog as an opportunity to slow your breath down. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Look between the hands. Step, jump, float it up. Your choice. Big toes together. Lift up. Exhale, forward fold. Sit in your chair, Utkatasana. And this time we're going to come up to Samasthiti here. All right, readjust yourself. We're going to do a little bit of a fun exercise here. Don't overthink it too much. Just try your best. Sit on your chair, Utkatasana. Maybe give yourself a little bit extra space at the top of your mat. Inhale. Hands in a prayer position. Twist over towards the right hand side for a breath. And then inhale, come back up. And then twist over to the left. Inhale, come back up. Flatten the hands, bring them down, index fingers pointing forward. Come up high onto your toes. Tap the feet up towards the butt. Maybe take a hover. Come back up, Utkatasana. Come down, twist to the right. Inhale, lift up. Exhale to the left. Inhale up. Don't think about it, bring the hands down. High up on the toes. Inhale, come back up, Utkatasana. If you've held the hover, hold it as long as you want. Inhale. If you've only tapped your butt, no problem. Inhale. It's all good. Exhale, bring the hands down. Shift the weight forward. Last one, inhale. Exhale to the right. Inhale. Exhale to the left. And this one we're going to jump back to chaturanga. So wherever you are. Exhale, come down and flatten the palms. Lean forward. Upward facing dog, inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, right foot in between the hands. Inhale to come up, warrior one. Exhale out, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Just feeling the postures, don't worry too much about them. Cartwheel the hands down. Vinyasa. So I kind of tend to do warm up on warm up on warm up. This is what it is. Left foot in between the hands. Inhale, come up. Warrior two. Inhale. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down. Your vinyasa. Upward facing dog. Feel the back bend. Downward facing dog. All right, drop the knees, take a rest. Big toes together. Maybe even a drink of water. Ride your breath back home. Now I promise warm up is really over. Back to downward facing dog, just a short rest, guys. Look between the hands. Step, jump, float it up. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. We're just going to do a couple more of those fun exercises before we really get into The exercise, the flow today, turn to the right. Inhale, lift up. Turn to the left. Inhale, lift up. Bring the hands down. Shift the weight forward. Little hop. Inhale. Inhale to the left. Inhale, lift up. All right, we're going to take it back. So if you want to spend a little bit of extra time, go for it. Also, no need. Upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, right leg lifts. If you want to handstand to your warrior one, go for it. That's a little hop switch. It's quite a long distance here from here though, so don't take it too seriously. It's just a variation. If you want to give a little hop, you can go for it, just like so. Just enough to get a little bit of lift. Inhale, lift the hands up, warrior one. Pull the right hip back. Relax the shoulders. I'm going to release my hands apart. At the same time, you can really open up to a warrior one here with a slight back bend. We can equally pull the rib cage in. I'm going to pull my rib cage in today, sucking the belly in. Open out, warrior two. All right, so take a little bit more attention to your postures this time, now that we are super warm. Sink a little bit deeper into your right knee. Relax the shoulders, but firm them into the back. Drop the left hand, reverse warrior. Maybe feel a bit more of a back bend this time as you sink further into the right knee. Inhale. And this one, let's lift up the right heel. A little bit more difficult. This hurts your left knee or any of your knees, just come out of it. All right, drop the right knee, straighten the back, straighten the front leg so you're in reverse triangle, and then hinge the hips forward. If you want to walk your back foot in a little bit, go for it. Lean the body weight forward, lean, 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 and then come into my favorite posture, Trikonasana. Open up the chest. So you see a lot of people who kind of collapse a little bit in Trikonasana. Don't be that person. Open up, lifting up, trying to lengthen through the side body, opening up. All right, look down at the ground. Bend the right knee. Right hand comes on the inside of the foot. You might have to walk your left foot back a little bit. And from here, adjust your microphone if that's digging into your hip. Lift the right hand up. All right, let's try and find a bind. If you can't find a bind, no problem. You can always use a strap or just forget about it. It's just a bind. It's nothing that will change your life. Make sure your right elbow is down underneath your thigh, and then bring it over. Don't make it too deep, just maybe monkey grip with the fingers, and then straighten the front leg, and then bend back into it. So when you're doing so, try not to bring your chest down to the ground like I'm doing now, but rather still maintain the rotation of the chest up towards the ceiling, opening, pulling that left shoulder blade back as you straighten and stretch. Be careful here not to pull your shoulder out of the socket, to be mindful what your natural range of motion is. All right, bend back in, release the hands, replace it onto the mat, lift the left hand up just to adjust. All right, turn it down, left hand comes down, right hand comes up, just a side twist here out to counter stretch, and then drop the back knee down. Unhook the toe, inhale, lift up. From here, your hand can go on your lower back or maybe further down your thigh. If you're feeling super flexible, you might even be able to grab your ankle. Not me. All right, but press the hips forward. Once again, suck in this part of your belly here and feel the length of your rib cage up and out as you find the back bend. Push the hips forward, stabilize the pelvic floor, pull in the lower belly muscles. Find a back bend that's within your reach. Inhale and exhale. All right, slowly come out, firming the belly. Bring the left hand down. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring the right hand forward, lift up the back knee and straighten both legs and tap the ground with your right hand. And then when you bend back into both knees, the right hand sweeps up,
Left hand sweeps up, finding that back bend again. So we'll do a few flows of this. Straighten legs, tap forward, finding rotation here in the shoulders, opening up into the hamstrings, quads, back bend. Also getting in a little bit of extra heart rate work. Inhaling, exhale, inhale, and exhale. All right, on this last one, maybe you can find a bit of an even deeper back bend, pushing the hips forward. So you're in this twisted, low lunge, reverse warrior. Sink the hips a little bit. Feel the side body. Woo, it's hard. All right, belly in. Bring the right hand down. Once again, straighten the front leg. Straighten the back leg. And point the hands forward. And this time, lift the right hand up. Begin to circle the hand, but look underneath the armpit. So you're almost like in a twisted side angle. Just a variation. All right. Firm everything into your left hand, soften the right knee a little bit. And then in one movement, keeping that right hand where it is, slowly step the right foot behind the left leg. Sink the hips down before transiting into your wild thing. Lift the hips up. In this position, circle the hand. All right. Look at your hand while you circle it. And then now you've got that awareness of your wrist. Just then let the fingers drip down and follow it with your eyes. Sink the hips, bring the right hand down, lift the right leg up nice and high, and maybe three-legged chaturanga. So come forward, whew, lower down, hold it, look forward, then upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe here, inhale, and exhale. Yay, another side. Inhale and exhale. All right, left leg up, nice and high. All right, so from here, you can step forward to your warrior one. Again, try a little bit of a kind of handstand thing. Maybe you catch some air, maybe not. But if you do manage to catch a handstand, keep it for as long as you want. Or maybe not. It's quite a long way to jump from, so it can take a bit of getting used to. Warrior one. If you're upside down in some beautiful handstand split, stay there as long as you want to. Inhale and exhale. All right, warrior two, open out. So I've just wiggled my left foot forward a little bit, because I like a bit of a wide stance. Firm the shoulder blades, pull the belly in. Make sure your right hand's not doing anything crazy. Keep it in line with the left. All right, reverse warrior. From here, let's lift the left heel up. If this really hurts either of your knees, just drop the foot. It's not really worth it. Drop the heel rather. Maybe though you can challenge yourself by keeping that left knee even deeper bent. Ooh, opening up really the groin muscles here. All right, straighten drop the heel, straighten the front leg, find a reverse triangle for a second, and then come forward, wiggle the back toes in a little bit, and find Trikonasana, the beautiful, amazing Trikonasana. So exquisitely painful when done correctly, no matter how flexible you are. All right, always so much fun adjusting my students in Trikonasana, seeing the look of horror on their face when I bring them into a position that is properly aligned. Inhaling and exhaling. All right, drop the left knee. Left hand comes on the inside of the foot. All right, open up the right hand. Finding side angle here. Find the bind if possible. You can always use like a strap. If you don't have a strap, just use like a tea towel or a sock or something. Just don't need to spend any extra money on a strap. Use what you have at home. All right, from here, we're going to begin to straighten and bend into the holding the bind. So even if you have a deeper bind, try to just let the fingers go to let yourself open up. And don't do what I'm doing right now by looking down on the ground. Really try and rotate the rib cage up by using the power of your core. Right shoulder rolls back. Be careful. Be really mindful of your shoulder here. Wouldn't be too hard to pull it out of its socket. All right, left hand comes down. Readjust yourself, right hand comes up, inhale. Right hand comes down, left hand comes up, lift up the back ankle. Oh, inhale, reach up the hands. Feeling stiff today, I don't know about you. And drop the right knee down. All right, come up. Readjust yourself, maybe readjust your hair if necessary. From here, let's find a bit of a twist. So have a look at your left hip here. See that it's in line with your right. It has a tendency to come forward. And from here, maybe begin to sneak your hand down your thigh. Maybe you can go quite far back. Not me. I have a really, really, really short back bend. Not helped by injuries and general age. But that doesn't mean that I'm not feeling the back bend, which is the whole point. All right, bring the right hand down. Left hand comes forward and circles up and over, straightening the front leg. So you can see here I've begun to inner zip the thighs together. So once again, circle it forward. Inhale, come up. Press the hips forward. And then exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And on the last round, see if you can find a little bit more depth in your back bend, but just back off immediately if you don't. Once again, zip in that area, make it really small in between your pubic bone and your belly button or navel. All right, so really tighten that in, pull it in, and let the rib cage flow up and out of the hips with control. All right, right hand comes down and circle the left hand up and over. So finding here, and from this, when your thighs zip together, then open up the left shoulder. So you're looking up underneath the armpit, finding a really interesting twist here, variation of twisting pyramid, like a really long twisting pyramid, but with the hand coming forward rather than straight up to the ceiling. All right, back off a little bit. Right hand turns into the mat, and slowly as you can, step the left foot back. Test yourself out here how much you can control. Drop it down the hips, readjust, keep the left knee bent, and push the hips up. Look down at your hand, circle the wrist out. And then let it float down towards the ground. With Wild Thing, if you want to learn how to transition, the easiest thing you can do is just point your fingertips down to the ground and keep following with your eyes. That will really help. All right, circle out slowly. Left hand comes down, left foot comes up. 3-point chaturanga, so come forward. All right, try and hold with me for a second here. Look forward, keep everything engaged. Upward facing dog. Woo. Downward facing dog. All right, definitely a rest here. Drop the knees, take a second. I need a drink of water. Breathing in and out. Any other stretches you might feel like at this point in time, go for it. Only you know what your body feels like. All right, let's come back up to downward facing dog. Finish off our flow, just a short thing either side with a couple of postures, and then we'll move into back bends, then you're done. All right, downward facing dog. All right, right leg comes up high. If you want to do that handstand switch, go for it. I'm just going to step it forward this time, save myself from the potential danger of knocking my head onto the ground. Inhale, come up, warrior one. Exhale out, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior. Straighten the front leg, reverse triangle. Hinge the hips forward. Triangle. Look down at the ground. Bend the knees. Right hand comes down. Left hand comes up. Inhale. Exhale, take a bind. You can either stay here or step the left foot forward. Begin to strengthen and straighten into your left foot and coming up into bird of paradise. So keep that bind. Find the engagement in your belly. Lift the chest up. All right, once your shoulder is straight, you can begin to think about straightening your leg. Depending on how flexible you are in the hamstrings, this might look really pretty, or you might be a little bit of a broken bird like me. All right, come down slowly. Woo. And then drop the hands, release the bind. Come into Bakasana. Bakasana, Malasana. Inhaling and exhaling. And actually we will come into Bakasana. So if you're ready to go straight into crow, go for it. And today I'm going to do a little bit of a transition. So you can always play this back and forth if you give you some tips on how to do it. I'm going to go from Bakasana to tripod headstand. If you've never done this before, take it slow, right? Any other version can do. You can also stay in Malasana squat, but I'm going to come into a pretty low Bakasana, right? Because in this Bakasana, you really want to bend down into the elbows and then drop the head down so your transition is really as soft as possible. Lift the feet up towards the ceiling. From here, to come out of tripod, you can either come back down, knees towards chest, and knees on top of triceps, come back up to crow, or you can come down 90-degree angle. From here, flex the feet, super important, so you can come back to chaturanga. Upward facing dog, inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg up high. All right, step the foot in between the hands. If you're handstanding, go for it. If you catch a handstand, stay in for it as long as possible. If you're really proficient in handstanding, if you're really finding that you're getting a lot out of it, maybe start to learn how to look, rather than down, look back. So you're stretching your neck. Next challenge, open up, warrior two. Always another challenge. That's why I can't get too attached. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, straighten the front leg, reverse triangle. Hinge the hips forward. Come into regular triangle. Look down at the ground. Bend the knee. Come into side angle. Open up, look up at the right hand. Find a bind. Inhale. And then step the right foot forward if you have the bind. And you can do this with a strap or a sock or whatever you've got. All right, spread the right toes. Finding balance. All right, so try not to work into straightening your leg until you've really lifted the chest up as much as possible. All right, so engage from the core. Roll the shoulder blades back, and from there, straighten out as much as you can. Push the hips forward. And then, when you've had enough of that, back to squat. All right, from here, inhaling and exhaling. All right, hands come down. Let's start to cool down. Step the left foot back, come into a lizard lunge. From here, just straighten the front leg and bend into it. Getting rid of any more hip niggles before you can come into your lizard. You can lift up the back knee, or you can just keep it down. All right, drop the back knee wherever you are, and then walk the hands back. You might need to you definitely probably will need to bring your foot in a little bit, and finding some kind of Hanuman. So for me, that's definitely going to be a half Hanuman. But wherever you are, zip the thighs together, and then lean the body weight forward. But really, when you do this, and keep the right foot engaged, keep your back leg engaged. If you're one of these people that can bring both sit bones down onto the ground, my challenge for you is to lift up as much as possible. Right, so even if you're in a full splits, You want to try and bring that left hip forward because it's almost certainly coming back some, and lift up. So think, rather than trying to get both sit bones down to the ground, make your goal to lift up your chest up towards the ceiling as much as possible. Really feel the strength. So you're not just dumping down into your flexibility, but you're lifting up and out of the posture using the strength of your core muscles, your pelvic floor, your quads. All right, come out of it, bend into the right knee. All right, here's just something a little bit different. You can, from here, just find some kind of hip balance of some sort. You can bring your hands up, maybe grabbing a clasp. You can fly them out. Right? And also, just for something a little bit different, bring your left hand forward, keep your right shoulder snuggled underneath, grab your right foot, and then rotate your left knee up towards the ceiling in what Instagram calls super soldier. Not a real yoga posture, so don't worry too much if you can't get it. All right, maybe try and rotate that left knee up a little bit higher, straighten the right leg a little bit more, and release down. All right, from here, wiggle the right foot over towards the left side of the mat. Inhale, lift up the chest. If you got super soldier, maybe it's time you sort out a LO yoga sponsorship or something. I'm sure Instagram fame is within your reach. Inhale, lift up the chest. Once again, lift up the chest. And then exhale, come forward fold. Relax here. If you're doing any other version, like go for it with mermaid or the full Ekapada Raja Kapotasana, just remember to pull in the low belly and use that to free your rib cage up and out of your hips. So find like lightness in your ribs, and then but a real strength and drawing in. And also remember to pull the hip points into each other. Inhale, lift up. Just hands down. From here, step back to downward facing dog. We're just going to do one last little tuck jump. So you can bring your knees out wide on this one, maybe, and then try and see how slowly you can bring it down. If you can also jump to Bujapindasana, go for it. In fact, I'm not going to jump into it for fear of breaking my wrists off this morning, but I'll just demonstrate what it looks like in a second. But if you know how to do that, go for it. Otherwise, you can just jump up and then come down to a squat position. As you can see, still very much working on stability in my handstands. So Bujapindasana. So if you can stay in Malasana squat, or you can bring your hands down in a Chaturanga position, so elbows bent, thighs on top, and then from here, just cross the ankles. Okay. This is a really good arm balance to start learning off, because the worst thing that can happen to you is you fall on your butt, as opposed to, as you would have just seen with my tuck jump, chances of landing on your face are much higher. All right, release out. If you know the full one, go for it. Otherwise, just come back to the squat. This time, step the right foot back, finding just a bit of flexibility, rocking back and forth. Before coming into a lizard lunge. If you're really flexible in the hips, like rather than sink your hips down this one, really feel what it feels to like lift those hips up and then pull the left knee in and feel the difference there. And then once you're there, pull the right leg so the right knee is really rotating down to the ground. So it's a really interesting way to feel your hips in this position, especially if you're flexible in the hips. All right, drop the knee down, walk the hands back, walk the left foot in, inhale, lift up the chest. If you're going for the full splits, go for it. Just keep in mind my challenge to you, depending on your flexibility. if you're in a half splits like me, you can really get this feeling of dragging your heel back towards you and pulling your right hip forward. So you're really zipping your inner thighs together. Lift up the chest, inhale, exhale, forward fold. Now that is a really strong stretch. All right, bend back into the knee. All right, so once again, we've got some kind of hip thing we can play around here. So you might be trying airplane, a bind, maybe Ekapada Vinyasa, the arm balance. For today's thing, I'm just trying something a little bit different. Walking the right foot in a bit, right hand comes forward, and then you might be able to see here, my left shoulder's quite snuggled underneath my thigh. The more you can get it snuggled under, the better it is. And then grabbing the foot, then rotating the right knee up towards the ceiling, trying to straighten my left leg eventually. And trying to rotate my right knee up towards the ceiling. Ooh. All right, bring it back, drop the knee. On the way home now, as we come into pigeon pose. So walk the hands back first, stabilize the hips. Oh, I'm smiling because I'm glad to have this over and done with. Inhale, lift the chest up, and then exhale. Forward. Goddamn folds. Enjoy. All right, come back up or stay forever. That's what I felt like doing. Press back, downward facing dog. All right. From here, let's drop the knees, work into a tripod headstand. So if you've never done tripod before, you have to think about like your hands being in a triangle. If you have a unjustifiably expensive mat like I do, the Lifeform mat, then the triangle is there for you. If not, remember, you don't need anything expensive with yoga. My teacher, who physically and probably spiritually is more into the yogic practice than any other person I've met, he started off wearing, swimming shorts and using towels in the 1970s. So you definitely don't need anything in particular. But if you haven't got it for you, just imagine your hands at the bottom of the triangle, your head, crown of your head at the top. Just drop the head down. All right. Walk the knees in. This might be enough for you. Definitely the nervous system starts to get a little bit anxious as soon as we come upside down. But if you're ready for the next part, press your hands into the ground and zip the elbows in. So they're definitely like push up chaturanga arms. Lift up the knees. Maybe you just stay like this. All right. You can also begin to work on bringing the feet up off the ground. All right. But take it slow. If you're starting out, I definitely taught myself tripod by myself at home using YouTube videos, but slowly. And if you're working on any inversion or arm balance, I actually think that a couple of times, so 10 minutes practice a day for a couple of weeks really does wonders, much more than just once a week. All right, you can do anything you want here, maybe bringing the knees, tapping each tricep. I'm just going to stay traditional. And when you've had enough, hinge at the hips. Come down. So if you're still working in a tripod, maybe you want to try bringing the knees down to one tricep, coming up into side crow, then the other. Maybe I'll just show what it looks like. So in this case, bringing the knees down to the tricep, hugging it all in, lifting the head off the ground, bringing the head back down, and lifting the knees back up. And the other side, if that's your jam for today. All right, downward facing dog. And when you're ready, come through to a seated position, legs in Baddha Konasana, so soles of the feet together. From here, fingertips behind you, inhale, puff up the chest like an upward facing dog chest. Take an inhale here. Really feel like you're being able to tilt your tailbone forward and up, roll the thighs up and out. External rotation. If your knees are close down towards the ground, then you can start to come down. If your knees are up like this, not a heap of point of coming down, but as you like, whatever feels good. Inhale. Maybe exhale, sink a little bit deep. If you're like this, no problem, right? Just don't try to curve your spine up like this. You can even use your hands to drag yourself through, finding much more of a forward fold. Straight spine. Okay, inhale, lift the chest up, sink back, hug the knees together, point the toes, curve the spine, forehead towards the knees. And then when you're ready, lift the head up and then just rock back and forth a few times. Just relaxing the spine before we come into a couple of back bends, and then you are done. Any other back bends are totally welcome in my class. One of my other classes on the YouTube account actually has a lot deeper back bends, but these ones, just because I want them to be a little bit more relaxing, I'm not putting a lot of back bends into them, especially the more complex ones, because I'm just certainly not feeling like it now. Maybe you're not, but if you are after that, there's King Cobra in one of my practices on Sala. All right, so let's start up with lifting the hips up, finding a nice bridge. Don't let the knees flail out, rather pull them in, and then see if you can, in this position, really concentrate on what I've spoken about throughout the class, about pulling that area in between your pubic bone and your belly button really tight, sucking it in, and letting the rib cage lift. Feeling the inner thighs suck towards each other, and then rolling the hips down, vertebrae by vertebrae. All right, time for a wheel if you want. Otherwise, more bridges. And once you've done a couple of back bends, feel free to do anything else, maybe even forearm scorpion, handstand scorpion if you're working with things like that. All right, and for this practice, maybe just try something a little bit different. Lift the heels up, sink the hips down by bending the knees, then straighten the arms, and then drop the heels down to the ground, finding a bit of a deeper back bend. And try and bring the chest through. Try to keep breathing. Oh, bloody hell. And come down. All right, one more. After that, like I said, any other variation you want to do. In fact, if you have a block, or even if you have a pillow or anything like that, you can use the block and place it underneath your sacrum. And even if you don't have a block, I mean, you can use pillows to place underneath your thoracic spine, underneath your shoulder blades. And this might be like a little bit of it's a back bend, right? It's just a bit more of a chill back bend. All right, I'm just gonna stay here for a second. If this is not your thing, and just come back into a wheel. Oh, I'll do it with you. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to lift my heels up, let my hips sink, straighten my arms, and then drop the heels, pull my chest through. When you're ready, come down. All right. I like to do a supine twist after back bends. So right knee comes over the left, pulling the legs out over to the right hand side. You can also just zip the knees together. So look over at your right hand. Let the shoulder blades sink down to the ground. Make sure your shoulder blades are down on the ground before your knees drop down. And make sure you actively look at your right hand as well, just to get your neck in the twist as well. Okay, other side. Keep that left shoulder down on the ground as your as your knees come over to the right side. Feel the wringing out. Hug the knees into the chest. Start to use this time to give yourself a little mental pat on the back for doing happy babies, for doing so much work. I said to my Zoom class earlier today that I think that there's a lot of pressure to be super productive during this time, whether it's all these Instagram videos of people baking sourdough bread, or I don't know, knitting, or like people writing novels or whatever. I think that whatever you do to get yourself through the day is great, and don't worry about the rest. There's no need for you to overachieve during this time, and simply even switching on a yoga class, maybe even getting to this part of the class, it's enough. Hug the knees into the chest, forehead towards knees, just like we did to come down to the mat. Bring the feet out, hands out, back to that hollow body hold for 3, 2, and 1. Drop into your corpse pose, Shavasana. Inhale, roll the shoulder blades down the back. Exhale, release. Inhale. And exhale. Thanks so much for doing the class. I hope you had a good time. And hope to see you next time.